Okay, so Pierre, I think we can start. What do you think?
Yeah.
So, hi everybody. Welcome to this edition of NetNut's webinar. Today we'll talk about launching NetNut's Unblocker, website Unblocker, and focusing mainly on how to bypass anti-bot systems. With me today, and I'm very happy to co-host with Pierluigi, CTO at Analytics. Hey Pierre, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And thank you for inviting me in this webinar. I'm happy to be here.
We're very happy and honored to have you on our webinar today.
Thank you.
So what we will do today, everybody? We'll start by discussing data, and Pierre will give us his insights on the world of data and how data is utilized. We'll then go on and discuss a bit about the challenges in web scraping. What do we see in the field? The evolution of web scraping, where do we see the world going to? We'll demo for you NetNut's website Unblocker, tell you a bit about it. We recently launched it, so you're familiar with what we launched. Offer you an exclusive offer at the end, so it's worth staying till the end. And then opening up for a Q&A for any questions you might have. So Pierre, I'll let you introduce yourself for the forum.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So as Eitan said before, I'm co-founder of Analytics and Data Boutique. They are two companies. Analytics is a data company, while databoutique.com is a marketplace for web scraping data. 2 years ago, I started also writing for the Web Scraping Club, which is a newsletter I started for sharing my experience about the web scraping world, which is something I'm into from 10 years, from where I started realanalytics.com. And well, in my life, I wrote, I think, thousands of scrapers. So that's why I'm here and to help to bring some insights for the audience today.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And yeah, your experience is by far one of the most extensive I've seen in the market. So I believe you'll have a lot of inputs for us in the webinar today. So introducing myself, again, my name is Eitan Bremler. I run product management here at NetNut. I've been doing product management pretty much since 2001. So experienced. So what do we do at NetNut? NetNut is a data collection company. We offer a wide range of solutions. If you're not familiar with us, and I recommend you browse over to our NetNut.io website to learn more what we do. We offer proxies, whether they're residential, static or rotating, mobile, data center IPs. We offer scrapers like SERP Scraper and the newly launched website Unblocker, which I'll present to you. We offer data sets for professional profiles or companies. So whether you look within the stack of data collection, from proxies all the way to data, NetNut has an offering today, and I encourage you, again, to check us out later on and reach out so we can tailor for you the exact solution you need. So let's kick it and start with the first point Pierre and I wanted to discuss with it was why is data so necessary, right? And who do we see today are the primary users? So let you, Pierre, to kick it off, and we can take it from there.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting question, and also one that's difficult to answer, because even at Data Boutique, we have this kind of discussion who to target, who are our buying personas for data sets. And the truth is that web data is so widely used and needed that it's difficult to find one single target persona, buying persona to target for marketing efforts. Because web data is used by AI. Think about the AI booming today we have with LLM models, but also traditional use cases like image recognition or image labeling or whatever algorithms, they need data to be trained. And of course, where it mostly does it come this way, this data from the web. Also, we have plenty of software and solutions that extracts insight from this kind of web data. Think about price monitoring tools, fares aggregators for hotels, price optimizations, revenue optimization, review collectors, and so on. There are so many softwares that use web data. And last but not least, we have the financial world, the so-called alternative data world, where investors trying to understand how companies and brands are performing before the official statements are public. So we have a wide array of use cases for web data.
And do you think, before we talk about who are the main users or the buyers, you've been in the market for quite a long time. Have you seen a change in kind of the companies looking for data, right? AI being, I guess, the newest, right? But there's been a shift, right? I mean, who's looking for data today that didn't look for data, I don't know, 2, 3,
well,
5 years?
Yes, probably the investor side is the one that is more used to use data. So they always try to get new kind of data to complement their financial models for the understanding of the market. So maybe they could be the early adopters for web data. Of course, today with all this AI boom, we have a lot of startups and other companies that are asking us for web data. I think in the retail industry, web data is just at the beginning because there are some barriers, and the companies like cost, but also cost of adoption, they are not so used maybe to use data. And so web data is again some kind of new, it's still new for them that they don't fully understand at the moment. The potentiality.
And do you see different buyers? So if we're talking about the buyer, right? At the end of the day, NetNut's a vendor, right? We target the specific buyer. You're a vendor maybe on the other side of providing data. Do you see, so who are the main buyers you see within an organization? Is it the data team or an analytics team? Is it different between maybe companies?
Well, of course, it depends also from the side of the companies. But I guess, yes, data science team are the mainly adopters for this web data because they are more used to try new things.
Okay, perfect. So now understand kind of who's looking for data. How has it evolved, right? Because like you said, people have been collecting data for a long time. And you've been doing web scraping, like you said, for a long time. How has that evolved from, writing the basic codes all the way to today in your mind?
Well, I remember 10 years ago when we started that we were able to write hundreds of scrapers basically by using curl and without any issue, because I think that 10 years ago there was not, web scraping was not so popular. So websites basically didn't care about protecting their data. Well, probably because there were so few people doing web scraping 10 years ago that there was no need to protect themselves. Of course, the web itself changed, and so the web scraping techniques changed. Today, we have companies that pour a lot of money in building anti-bot solutions they sell to websites. And this means that we have more complex tools to bypass them. We have the need for these tools to bypass them. In my opinion, if we take 100 e-commerces today, probably the 80% they don't have an anti-bot solution. So you can still have an easy life, more or less, in scraping them. But the remaining part is starting to become harder and harder because these anti-bot solutions are evolving fast, using the browser information to detect what's the running environment of your scraper, and it gets more difficult to bypass them because you need to align many different parameters, set up different tools to integrate between them to be successful in scraping.
And I also assume that the scale of web scraping has grown, right? The amount of data collected. Can you tell us, when you started, how much data did you collect? Do you remember?
Oh, well, it is anecdote. When we started, we made a scraping of only one real estate website in Italy. There were, I don't know, I don't remember the exact number, but we went to a statistical agency, very important in Italy for a real estate market. And with just only one snapshot of the real estate website, we had more classifieds than the whole history that they had in their database. So, of course, with the digitalization of the economy, there are more and more industries that are on the web today. While 10 years ago, buying a ticket online was natural, today you can buy online grocery or pharma or, of course, clothing and whatever you have in mind, you can buy online. Also, a Tesla you can buy online today. And of course, the more data, the more services are available online, it means that more data is available. And so more people are trying to get this data. And of course, if you want to get all this data, you need to scale also your team, your infrastructure to be able to get some insights from this data.
So everything is tied, right? The amount of data, to the complexity, to the number of people you need. And I think this actually brings us to the next question we wanted to talk, is kind of, what are the solutions, right? The way we see it today at NetNut, and I guess you maybe see it different or the same, is that kind of the world is split between, I'll do everything by myself in-house, I'll write my web scraper, I'll do my own unblocking, or I'll buy, kind of a build versus buy scenario, right? Or I'll buy everything from a vendor, right? The proxy network, the data collection service, the unblocking service. Is this how you see when you talk to people in the field?
Yes, I see there is this kind of contraposition between I make everything internally instead of buying or vice versa. But in my opinion, I'm more and more convinced in these years that it's I make by myself and buy a commercial solution, because there's no silver bullet in the market, and you don't have, honestly, enough time and money to make everything by yourself. So we were talking before, there are companies that are putting money in building anti-bot solution. So what are the probability you have in be able to bypass every kind of anti-bot solution on the market and stay also in the deadline of your web scraping project? Because at the end of the day, if you are a web data company and are selling data, you have a timeline, you have deadlines to send the data. Your job is to send data to your final customer, not building an anti-bot solution. Of course, if it hurts to your finances if you want to only buy a commercial solution to make everything. But on the other hand, if you want to tackle a complex anti-bot solution by yourself, you need also to think not only that you're saving money because you're not buying anything, but how much time, which equals to money, you are spending on building and maintaining your own scraping solution. That's a key point that always is underestimated in this kind of calculus.
Right, and I guess that also ties to what we talked before, because if I, as a data company, scrape different websites, and I'll be happy to hear from you, what do you see in terms of what is the average number of websites a company scrapes? Each company or different companies might have different solutions. We'll talk about unblocking technologies later on, but there's off-the-shelf anti-bot solutions, and there's homegrown or home-developed anti-bot solutions. So if I now scrape Amazon, e-commerce websites, Amazon and eBay and Target, I might hit 2 or 3 different anti-bot, and now I need to start doing the anti-blocking by myself if I'm developing it for different solutions, right?
Yes, correct. Well, but as an example, in our data company, Reanalytics, we scrape hundreds of websites, e-commerce websites, so public data on e-commerce. And as mentioned before, maybe the 80% of these websites don't have any anti-bot solution. And in this case, it's almost easy because you go for a browserless solution without worrying. You just need to trim maybe some proxies or some kind of settings, but it's an easy game. When talking to when tackling anti-bot solution, well, the thing changes because, of course, you want to try easy solution like a browser automation tool to bypass them, but then you need to consider, depending on from an anti-bot solution you're facing, the level of browser fingerprinting they are using, the level of the measurement of their the events on the page they are measuring. So it's tough. Honestly, it's tough, and it's getting tougher. So probably a mix between easy solutions from browser automation tools and some kind of setups, common setups, and an unblocker solution. It's what we have today in place.
Right. Okay, great. So let's pause here and introduce NetNut's website Unblocker. But before that, it's important to kind of sum up, I think, what Pierre and I talked about is why do we even need, right, website unblocking technologies or anti-bot technologies. So basically what happens is kind of an evolution, right? And, Pierre, feel free to jump in here. But websites started implementing anti-bot solutions a long time ago, and not necessarily for scraping. It was to prevent denial of service attacks, because what's a DDoS attack basically is I have many bots attacking a website, or a flood attack, if you will. So companies developed solutions to prevent bots generating denial of service attacks. And then another type of attack commonly to e-commerce came out, which is shopping cart bots, basically filling up a shopping cart with information, basically removing stuff from the shelf, if you will, by illegitimately buying more and more products, virtually buying products which I don't even need, just so it doesn't seem that the stock will be reduced. So anti-bot solutions came here to prevent the shopping cart bots. And once I deployed these solutions, I, as a e-commerce, that also gave me blocking the scraping bots. But if you look today, if you go to the different anti-bot vendors, whether it's Cloudflare or Datadome or Incapsula or F5, Casada, Perimeter X, Radware, there's many vendors. And you look at kind of go over their pitch of why buy a solution. Web scraping isn't necessarily top 3, it might be top 5, but for us as an industry, it's a main hurdle, right? So, and we're seeing, so that's why kind of the evolution, as the way I see it, and I'll be happy to hear, Pierre's, your feedback, if this is also kind of how you saw the evolution. And what we're also seeing is that there's kind of maybe three main types of anti-bot solutions in the market today. The off-the-shelf third-party vendors, like we said. The in-house solutions, mainly the large vendors, Amazon, Instagram, Google, Shopee, all develop their own solutions for anti-scraping. Could be redirecting to a login page if I recognize you're a bot. Could be popping you a cookie consent as a bar on the main website. So when you render it, you kind of get this bar, different types of solutions. And the CAPTCHA solutions, whether it's reCAPTCHA V2 or V3 or HCAPTCHA. Datadome have their own CAPTCHA and they're adding CAPTCHA. So it's also being mixed. Is this kind of how you see the market as well?
Yes, totally. And also on the website perspective, even installing these solutions or creating an anti-bot solution, it's balance. It's between the right of protection, the level of protection they want to improve, but also the service disruption they're giving to the users, and also to the crawling system of Google and so on, because there are some websites that are particularly strict on blocking bots that even if you crawl them, if you browse them by hand as a normal user, you get blocked. And this is so that this is what the websites don't want.
It's a very tight balance. So inside why we need it, let's talk about a bit about the core features of NetNut's newly launched website Unblocker. We actually launched it last week. It's now a integrated part of our entire offering. What we developed for our first version is what we call recipes. It's basically how to unblock specific anti-bot solutions. We support today Amazon, Cloudflare, Datadome, Perimeter X, and other solutions as well. So straight out of the gate, and I'll show you in the demo, all you have to do is send a CURL request or an API request. We recognize the anti-bot solution, if there is, and spin up the recipe, create the relevant fingerprint for unblocking the solution. Could be using custom headers, and you can choose the geo or rendering HTML, but we rotate dynamically the IPs based on the recipe. So some anti-bot solutions work good with a specific type of IP, maybe a data center IP, but others can work with a mobile or res IP. So we know to do the rotation automatically. We create a dynamic fingerprint, basically imitating a real browser when you go scraping, and of course CAPTCHA solving, whether reCAPTCHA, V2, V3, HCAPTCHA, etc. All of this is already today part of the version we launched. So any one of our esteemed customers here, if you jump on a trial, basically you get all the features. So let's see what it looks like, right? So let me jump over here to our demo. So I'll start by basically showing you, can you see my dashboard screen, Pierre? Perfect. So this is the customer dashboard. And what you can see here is I took a snapshot of what a user sees in terms of the statistics we offer. And as you can see here, a user can see today all the domains they try to unblock, how many requests, success rates, right? How much data they downloaded. You can see this over time. You can see according to date. So you see here, I played a lot with Amazon, right? Different Amazon, whether it's Amazon in Spain or in Italy. G2, I tested them out. By the way, I don't know if you know, but G2 use Cloudflare, right? Which is, as you say, relatively not a website you would assume have anti-bot, but actually G2 implemented an anti-bot solution. They probably don't want people to start scraping, right, reviews. So from a customer's perspective, once you start generating traffic, this is where you will see it, right? You'll see in the dashboard, you'll be able to see your usage of the package, right? How much usage you had on your package. It's we sell bandwidth-based packages, so you see the usage and you see the statistics. So if we jump into the demo specifically, so as you can see here, basically we're going to test a few websites. Petco, which is a Data Dome protected website. Footlocker, also Data Dome will test Petco. We'll test DoorDash. If you know DoorDash, they're a restaurant, online restaurant ordering company. They have Cloudflare and of course Amazon. So basically, what I did to begin with, I can run all of these, right? And if I run today, let's say we'll take Petco, right? Okay, and if I run Petco, and you will see that once I run Petco, okay, I get a response very, very fast, right? What I did here is I run basically a standard CURL request to Petco, right, through our proxy network, and you see I'm blocked, right? If I now go and open here Petco, basically you see you've been blocked, right? Because they recognized I'm a bot, and this is the same if I do Amazon. If I do anything which is blocked, I'll get blocked. However, if I can now start running it through our Unblocker, right? So for example, I can take the script I have here and basically unblock the same website and drop it into an HTML just so we see what it looks like, right? So it might take time, okay? Very, very fast because I already unblocked it in the past. So I can now go in and you see here I have Petco, okay? Now, not all the images are rendered. They're all downloaded. If you look at the code at the end, the response, but in some cases, in terms of the rendering, if it's internal links, you might not see the link. So we're able to bypass Data Dome and get Petco. The same thing, I can go here. Let's take, for example, DoorDash. Unblock DoorDash. Okay, takes a bit of more time because I'm spinning up and now checking DoorDash. Might take a few seconds, right? But once I do the unblocking, I'll be able to get DoorDash very fast. As you can see, it took me roughly 18 seconds, okay? 20 seconds to bypass Cloudflare. And I have here my DoorDash downloaded, okay? Basically fully rendered, bypassing Cloudflare in about 20 seconds. And last but not least, we can do the same also for Amazon. Okay, this is Lego website, okay? Opened up Amazon, and as you can see here, basically with Lego, with sponsored links. So the nice thing about our solution is that the first time we get a website we don't know might take time. Might take maybe 30, 40 seconds. But then once the recipe is stored, we know to run it for all that website again, and the average response time drops really fast. So could be Amazon, like I said, could be Data Dome websites, could be Cloudflare websites. Everything is stored in our database. You can see exactly, like I said, the links we go to, okay, the customer goes to. And this built in, like I said, has the dynamic IP rotation, the fingerprints, the recipes, all in the same solution. All you need to do is send a CURL request to our gateway or an API request if you're more of an API person, and it works. Okay? Make sense, Pierre?
Well, totally. That's interesting. And I've seen this Unblocker. There are more and more companies trying to do this Unblocker solution because I think it's the future, honestly, because as I said before, building your own custom solution at home, it's difficult. It takes time, and for the trajectory that the difficulty of web scraping that is getting more and more difficult to in these years. A simple solution to integrating your scraping spider, it's a
must.
It's something, yes, it's a must-have, honestly.
Yeah, so I can tell you we worked intensively on releasing the product, and we do a lot of research, and you see the different anti-bot solutions. Each one of them is different, right? And so I'm thinking about people trying to do this by themselves, creating their anti-bot by themselves. It's not an easy task, as you said earlier, and whenever it's enough that the anti-bot solution changes something, and you need to recode your anti-bot solution. So, like I said, our solution is up and running. It's live. It's GA. So we encourage any one of you, if you want, before we switch over to the questions and answers, we have an offering for you, right? Both myself and Pierre, right? We offer a Unblocker trial, right? A 100 gigabyte free trial for you to test out our Unblocker for your websites. So, book a demo with us. We'll be happy to show you this solution, or reach out to our sales at NetNut email address. And I'll let Pierre also, tell us about his promotion.
Yeah, thank you. Since that's such a huge gift from you, I cannot come with empty hands. So I decided to gift 1 month of full subscription to the Web Scraping Club to anyone who wants to read what I write in my newsletter. Mostly of articles are free, but some in-depth articles are under paywall. So in this way, you can read for free 1 month of paid articles.
And I can say, as a follower of Pierre, this is a very good gift. I read all of your articles, so I encourage you guys to take this subscription. So this brings us to our point of, let's talk about some Q&A. We have quite a lot. So let me see what we have here today. So let me go over the questions here. Okay, so one of the questions, and I'll take it, and Pierre, feel free also to jump. What about sites that require login? Right? Anything to be, what do you do about logging websites?
I stay away from them because
exactly. you answered before myself. So logging websites bring us to the whole terms and use discussion, right? We focus on public websites, right? Most of our customers focus on public websites. So, both parties, we recommend, if you're able to do public data collection, focus there. Post login puts you in a very potential complex position. Another question was, does our Unblocker work for Gov domains? So yes, again, depends on which anti-bot solution said Gov domain might have. So if you have some Gov domain you wish to test, reach out to us, and we'll be able to tell you if it works or not.
Well, it's, I usually, to understand before what it works or not, I have a sort of framework that I built internally where I check if a browser, sorry, if website has a certain undetected anti-bot solution, and depends from that, I try to use first web automation tools and then start with the unblockers because that's my roadmap. I usually focus. You know, every dollar counts, but in the end of the day, you need to buy something if you want to deliver.
Exactly. Another question here was, does NetNut offer a list of what websites we can scrape? So yes, reach out to us. We can give you the information. Does NetNut support Cloudflare? So yes, as we said, we support unblocking Cloudflare. Regarding the slides, so yes, we'll share for the people who attended the presentation. Like I said, gov domains, there was a question we answered, depends on the anti-bot, right? And different gov sites might have different anti-bot solutions. Another question here, suppose I need to send some custom headers and cookies, right? In the scraping request using the unblocker. So yes, our solution supports custom headers. Depends on the headers. What we saw, and I guess Pierre, you can also address here, when you try to do anti-bot and blocking by yourself, you play a lot with headers. One of the benefits of a commercial anti-bot solution is that the anti-bot solution plays with the headers. So it saves on the scrapey side the need to play around with custom headers, right? Is that also how you see that?
Yes, it's not, in some cases, still if you use an unblocker, you need to set custom headers by yourself, but in this case not. It's a good way because also the headers must be coherent with your user browser. So if you're saying you're using Chrome in your custom headers, and then the unblocker uses Firefox because it's more effective or something like that, or injects a fingerprint of a Firefox browser, well, it's a red flag for the website.
I agree completely. So another question was, does NetNut support Shopee? So yes, we also support Shopee. Other questions here, quite a few questions about using NetNut. So again, I recommend reach out to us. All the people who wrote here that you would like to test us because you tested other vendors, reach out to us, right? We'll help setting you up with a trial and see if we can address your solutions. And I think this brings us another question. What's the difference between residential proxies and website unblocker? And I'll let Pierre answer that. So it seems similar, res proxies and unblocker, but it's different, right?
Yes, correct. Because of course, via residential proxy, you're basically routing your traffic as is from your IP to a residential IP, and then the traffic goes to the target website. But the logic of the scraper is the same as you wrote it. While with Unblocker, with Unblocker solutions, you are not in charge of building an anti-bot solution, but you simply write the logic of your data scraping, and the unblocker will choose which kind of proxy, which kind of fingerprint, and so on to use to overcome the challenges. So it's quite different, even if the usage is the same, because you're basically calling a proxy. But in this case, you're calling a super proxy, let's say, because it takes charge also of the anti-bot solution.
Perfect. And I think that actually brings us up to our time, right? And we said we'll keep it to 40 minutes, and I think we made it. So, talk to us, right? Reach out to NetNut, reach out to Pierre if you want to buy data, or if you want to learn how to do scraping. And Pierre, I want to thank you very, very much. This was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Eitan. It was a pleasure for me also.
And I want to thank all the people who joined today. We'll be reaching out to you following the webinar, to the people who registered and attended. If you need information, reach back out to us. Again, my name is Eitan Bremler. Pierre, thank you very much for attending, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Pierre.